I never imagined that saving someone's life would cost me the only voice my daughter had ever known. 3 bullets. 3 seconds. 1 choice. And suddenly, I could never say, "I love you" to her again. This is how silence became my forever. Before you watch full story, comment below from which country are you watching. Don't forget to subscribe for more amazing stories. The November rain was cold and merciless. James Rodriguez stood outside the Metropolitan Tower, his security uniform soaked through. He had 15 minutes left in his shift. 15 minutes until he could go home to his 7-year-old daughter Lily, who was waiting with her homework and that bright smile that made every hard day worth it. James was tired. Bone tired. Working 2 jobs as a single father was crushing him slowly. His wife Maria had died 2 years ago in a car accident, leaving him alone with Lily and a mountain of debt. But he never complained. Lily needed him. That was enough. The tower doors opened. Rebecca Chin stepped out, CEO of Chin Technologies, one of the richest women in the country. James had seen her in the building many times. Always in expensive suits, always surrounded by assistants, always moving like she owned the world. Tonight she was alone, talking on her phone, her heels clicking on the wet pavement. James noticed the car immediately. Black sedan. Tinted windows. Engine running. Parked in a spot that gave a clear view of the entrance. Wrong. Everything about it was wrong. His military instincts kicked in. Before Lily was born, before Maria, James had served 3 tours overseas. He knew danger. He could smell it. Rebecca walked toward her car, still talking on her phone, completely unaware. The sedan doors opened. 3 men stepped out. Guns in their hands. Professional. Organized. This was an assassination. James didn't hesitate. He ran. "Get down," he screamed. Rebecca turned, confused. She saw the guns. Her face went white with terror. James reached her in 4 seconds. He threw her to the ground behind a concrete planter. His body covered hers. The first bullet hit his back. The second hit his shoulder. He felt bones crack, felt fire spread through his chest. The third bullet hit his throat. The world exploded in pain and then went completely silent. Not quiet. Silent. Like someone had turned off all sound in the universe. James felt blood pouring from his neck, warm and thick. He tried to breathe and choked on blood. He tried to speak and nothing came out. Just blood. Just silence. He couldn't move. His body was shutting down. Above him, he could see Rebecca's face, her mouth open in a scream he couldn't hear. Her hands were pressing on his throat, trying to stop the bleeding. Her tears fell on his face. His last thought before darkness was Lily. "I'm sorry, baby. Daddy's not coming home tonight." James woke up 9 days later in a hospital ICU. The first thing he saw was Lily's face. She was curled up in a chair beside his bed, sleeping with her thumb in her mouth like she used to do when she was 3. Her face was pale and thin. She had been crying for days. He tried to say her name. His mouth moved, but nothing came out. Not a whisper. Not a sound. Nothing. Panic seized his chest. He tried again. Lily. His lips formed the word, but his throat produced nothing. Absolute silence. He touched his neck. Bandages. Tubes. Pain. A nurse rushed in, then doctors. They stood around his bed with serious faces, checking monitors, checking him. One doctor, an older woman with kind eyes, sat down beside him. "Mr. Rodriguez, you've been in a medically induced coma for 9 days, she said gently. You were shot 3 times. The bullets to your back and shoulder were serious, but we repaired the damage. However, She paused. The bullet to your throat destroyed your larynx and severed your vocal cords. We managed to save your life, but we couldn't save your voice. The damage is permanent. You will never speak again. Never. The word hit him harder than the bullets had. Never speak again. Never say, "I love you," to Lily. Never read her bedtime stories. Never sing her the songs Maria used to sing. Never call her name. Never laugh with her. Never comfort her when she cried. Never tell her everything would be okay. Never. Lily woke up. Her eyes found his. For a moment she just stared, like she didn't believe he was real. Then she started crying. "Daddy," she screamed, climbing carefully onto the bed. "Daddy, you're awake." She threw her arms around him, sobbing into his chest. James held her, tears streaming down his face. He tried to speak. His mouth moved. Nothing came out. Lily pulled back, looking at his face. "Daddy? Say something. Please say something." He tried. His lips formed, "I love you," but no sound came. Just silence. "Why aren't you talking?" Lily's voice was panicked now. "Daddy, talk to me." The doctor spoke gently. "Lily, your father can't talk anymore. The bad people hurt his throat. His voice is gone. Gone." Lily looked at the doctor, then back at James. "Forever?" "Yes, sweetheart. Forever." Lily's face crumpled. "No. No, no, no. Daddy, please. Please talk to me." James pulled her close, sobbing silently. He couldn't comfort her with words. He couldn't tell her it would be okay. He couldn't do anything but hold her while she cried for the voice she would never hear again. The next weeks were a nightmare. James learned he had been in the news. Security guard takes bullets for CEO. Hero saves billionaire's life. Father of one loses voice protecting stranger. Rebecca Chen had visited every day while he was in a coma. She paid all his medical bills. She set up a trust fund for Lily. She offered him a job at her company. She did everything money could do. But money couldn't give him his voice back. The hospital gave him a notepad and pen. That was how he communicated now. Writing words instead of speaking them. Lily hated it. She was 7 years old. She needed her father's voice. "Daddy, how was your day?" she would ask at dinner. He would write, "Good." "How was school?" She would read it and her face would fall. "I hate this. I want you to talk." At night, Lily had nightmares. She would wake up screaming, calling for him. James would rush to her room, but when she saw him, she would cry harder. "I want you to talk to me," she sobbed one night. "I want you to tell me it's okay. I want to hear your voice." James held her, rocking her, his own tears falling silently. He tried to hum the lullaby Maria used to sing. Nothing came out. His throat was dead. His voice was gone. He wrote on his notepad, "I'm here, baby. Daddy's here." "But you're not." Lily cried. "You're quiet. You're different. The bad people took my real daddy away." The words destroyed him. Money became a nightmare. Rebecca had paid the medical bills, but James couldn't work as a security guard anymore. How could he? He couldn't shout warnings. Couldn't call for help. Couldn't communicate in emergencies. He got a job washing dishes at a diner. The pay was terrible. His boss felt sorry for him, but that didn't pay rent. James worked 10 hours a day in silence, scrubbing plates, going home exhausted to a daughter who wouldn't look at him the same way anymore. Lily changed. Her teacher, Ms. Garcia, called him in for a meeting. James sat across from her with his notepad ready. Mr. Rodriguez, I'm worried about Lily, Ms. Garcia said. She used to be one of our brightest students. Now she barely participates. She sits alone at lunch. The other children, they don't know how to act around her. James wrote, what do they say? Ms. Garcia hesitated. They call her the girl with the broken dad. I've tried to stop it, but children can be cruel. That night, James found Lily crying in her room. He sat beside her, putting a hand on her shoulder. She pushed him away. Leave me alone. He wrote, what's wrong, baby? Everything, she shouted. Everything is wrong. I hate school. I hate the kids. I hate that you can't talk. I hate everything. James's hands shook as he wrote, I'm sorry. Lily read the words and started crying harder. I don't want you to be sorry. I want you to be normal. I want my old daddy back. The one who could talk and laugh and sing. She looked at him with red, angry eyes. Why did you save her? Why did you save some rich lady you don't even know? Why didn't you just let them shoot her instead? The question cut deeper than any bullet. James stared at his daughter. She was 7 years old and asking why he had chosen a stranger's life over his own voice. Over their happiness. Over everything. He wrote slowly, because it was the right thing to do. I don't care about right. Lily screamed. I care about you. I care about us. That lady has everything and we have nothing. Why did you have to be a hero? She ran out of the room, slamming the door. James sat alone in the silence, the notepad on his lap, tears streaming down his face. 2 months after the shooting, Rebecca Chen came to their apartment. It was small and run down, in a neighborhood Rebecca's car had probably never been to before. She knocked softly. James opened the door. Rebecca stood there in jeans and a sweater, looking uncomfortable and sad. May I come in? She asked. He nodded. Rebecca sat on their old couch. She looked around, at the peeling paint, the second-hand furniture, the stack of bills on the table. Her eyes filled with tears. I found out where you live last week, she said quietly. I've been trying to work up the courage to come. I needed to see how you were living. I needed to see what my life cost you. James pulled out his notepad. You paid the medical bills. You gave Lily a trust fund. You offered me a job. You don't owe us anything. I owe you everything, Rebecca said, her voice breaking. Those men were sent by my business rival to kill me. You didn't know me. You had no reason to help me. But you jumped in front of bullets anyway. You gave up your voice, your career, your daughter's happiness to save a stranger. She pulled out an envelope. I know you took the dishwashing job. I know you're struggling. Please, let me help more. Take the job at my company. It pays well and doesn't require speaking. Let me set up a better trust for Lily. Let me. Lily appeared from her room. She had been listening. She looked at Rebecca with angry eyes. You're the reason my daddy can't talk, Lily said coldly. Rebecca's face went pale. Yes. I'm so sorry. Are you? Lily walked closer. Are you really sorry? Because you get to go home to your big house and talk to your family. My daddy can't even read me bedtime stories anymore. He can't sing to me. He can't tell me he loves me. He just writes on paper. Lily, James tried to stand, but Rebecca held up her hand. She's right to be angry, Rebecca said, tears flowing freely now. I would be angry too. Lily, your father is the bravest man I've ever met. He's a hero. I don't want a hero, Lily said, her voice breaking. I want a daddy who can talk. The words hung in the air. Rebecca stood up slowly. I understand, she said. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. She left the envelope on the table and walked out. After she left, James opened the envelope. Inside was a check for $1 million and a letter offering him a position as Director of Safety at Chin Technologies, salary $200,000 a year. He stared at the money. At the job offer. At the chance to give Lily everything she deserved. But it didn't give him his voice back. James took the job. The money changed their lives. They moved to a better apartment. Lily got a new school with better teachers. They had food, security, safety. But Lily was still angry. Still sad. Still missing the father she used to have. James worked hard at Chen Technologies. He communicated through email, through writing, through sign language he learned at night. He was good at his job. Rebecca promoted him. Gave him bonuses. Treated him like family. But at home, Lily barely spoke to him. She would come home from school, do her homework in silence, eat dinner in silence, go to bed in silence. She was punishing him for saving Rebecca. For choosing a stranger over their life together. One night, 6 months after the shooting, James found Lily crying in her room again. This time, she didn't push him away. She just looked at him with defeated, sad eyes. "I'm sorry, Daddy," she whispered. "I know you did the right thing. I know you're a hero. But I miss you. I miss your voice so much it hurts." James pulled out his notepad with shaking hands. "I miss it too, baby. Every single day. The kids at school say you're broken," Lily continued. "They say you're not a real dad anymore because you can't even talk. And sometimes I wonder if they're right." James felt his heart shatter. Lily saw his face and started crying harder. "I don't mean it. I love you, Daddy. But I'm so angry and I don't know who to be angry at. Those bad men. That lady. You. Myself. I just want things to be normal again." James wrote, "I would give anything to talk to you again. Anything. But you can't," Lily said. "And we have to live with that forever." She curled up in bed, turning away from him. James sat beside her, his hand on her shoulder, crying silently in the darkness. The next day at work, Rebecca called James into her office. She looked nervous. "James, I need to tell you something," she said. "I've been consulting with doctors around the world. Specialists in voice restoration and experimental procedures. I found someone. A doctor in Switzerland who does experimental surgery for vocal cord damage." James's heart stopped. He pulled out his notepad. "Can he fix me?" "I don't know," Rebecca admitted. "He says your case is severe. The damage is extensive. But he's willing to try. The surgery would involve artificial vocal cords, neural implants, months of therapy. It's extremely expensive. And there's only a 20% chance it will work." "How expensive?" $3 million. James stared at the number. Even with his new salary, even with the money Rebecca had given him, that was impossible. "I'll pay for it," Rebecca said immediately. "Every penny. I'll fly you and Lily to Switzerland. I'll cover everything. It's the least I can do." James wrote, "Why? You've already done so much." "Because I can't stand it," Rebecca said, her voice breaking. "I can't stand that you sacrificed everything for me and I'm walking around whole while you're broken. I can't stand seeing Lily's pain. I can't stand knowing that Marcus Huang, the man who sent those assassins, is still free while you're suffering." Her eyes blazed. "The police can't prove he ordered the hit. He's going to get away with it. But maybe, just maybe, I can help you heal. That's my revenge. Proving that his evil didn't destroy you permanently." James looked at the notepad. At Rebecca. At the hope in her eyes. He wrote, "When?" The surgery happened in Zurich 2 weeks later. Lily held his hand as they wheeled him into the operating room. "Please come back, Daddy," she whispered. "I don't care if you can talk or not. I just want you to come back." The surgery took 16 hours. James woke up with his entire throat bandaged and a tube down his throat. The pain was indescribable. Dr. Richter, the surgeon, came to see him. "The surgery went as well as could be expected," Dr. Richter said in accented English. "But we won't know if it worked for at least 6 weeks. Your body needs to heal. The implants need to integrate. Do not try to speak. Do not even try to whisper." 6 weeks of hell followed. James stayed in Switzerland with Lily. Rebecca flew back for work but called every day. Lily stayed by his side, reading to him, holding his hand, hoping. "Miss Garcia says I can make up the schoolwork when we get back," Lily told him one afternoon. "She says what we're doing is more important than math tests." James squeezed her hand. "Daddy, I've been thinking," Lily said quietly. "Even if the surgery doesn't work, I'm sorry for being mean. You saved someone's life. That's important. I was just really sad." James wrote on his notepad, "I know, baby. Me too. But I'm not sad anymore," Lily said, and she smiled. "Because even if you can't talk, you're still my daddy. And that's enough." James pulled her close, crying silently. 6 weeks later, Dr. Richter removed the bandages. James's throat was a mess of scars, but the wounds had healed. The doctor looked at the monitors, the readings, the integration of the artificial vocal cords. "Try to speak," Dr. Richter said. "Just one word." Lily stood beside the bed, holding James's hand so tight it hurt. Rebecca had flown back for this moment. She stood by the door, watching nervously. James opened his mouth. He pushed air through his throat. He tried to form a word the way he used to. "Nothing." He tried again. "Nothing." Lily's face fell. Rebecca closed her eyes. But Dr. Richter held up his hand. "Wait, Mr. Rodriguez. The artificial cords work differently. You must think about speaking. Focus on the vibration in your throat. Feel it and direct it." James closed his eyes. He focused on his throat, on the strange objects inside him. He thought about Lily's name. He pushed air and thought and will through his damaged throat. A sound came out. Rough. Mechanical. Wrong. But a sound. Lee. His voice was like gravel mixed with electronics. Like a robot learning to speak. "Lily." Lily gasped. Her hands flew to her mouth. "Daddy. You said my name." James tried again. "I love you." The voice wasn't his. It sounded artificial and strange. But it was a voice. Lily burst into tears and threw herself into his arms. "I love you too, Daddy. I love you so much." Dr. Richter smiled. "It will improve with therapy. You'll never sound like you did before. But you have a voice, Mr. Rodriguez. You can speak." Rebecca stood by the door, tears streaming down her face. "Thank you," she whispered. "Thank you for being alive. Thank you for being you." James looked at his daughter, at this brave little girl who had suffered so much because of his choice. His new voice was robotic and harsh, but the words were real. "I'm here, baby. Daddy's here." "I know," Lily sobbed. "I know. And I don't care what your voice sounds like. It's still the best voice in the world." The recovery took months. Speech therapy 5 times a week. Learning to control his artificial vocal cords. Learning to sound human again. His voice never became normal. It had a mechanical quality, an electronic echo. People stared when he spoke. Children sometimes got scared. But it was a voice. He could communicate. He could talk to Lily. Back home, life slowly improved. Lily loved his new voice. "You sound like a robot superhero," she declared. "It's cool." He read to her again. The bedtime stories came back, though his voice sounded strange. But Lily didn't care. She would curl up against him, listening to his robotic voice read about princesses and dragons, smiling like it was the most beautiful sound in the world. School became easier. The other kids thought James's voice was fascinating. "Your dad sounds like a cyborg," they would say. Lily would smile proudly. "He is. He's my cyborg hero dad." At work, James became known as the man with the robot voice who took bullets for the CEO. New employees would hear the story and look at him with awe. 1 year after the shooting, the police finally arrested Marcus Huang. They had found a witness, a money trail, evidence. He was charged with attempted murder and conspiracy. The trial was intense. Rebecca testified. James testified, his mechanical voice filling the courtroom. "Why did you save Ms. Chen?" the prosecutor asked. James's artificial voice echoed through the room, "Because she needed help." "That's what you do. Even though it cost you your voice?" "Yes. Every time, yes." Marcus Huang was found guilty and sentenced to 25 years in prison. Justice came late, but it came. 2 years after the shooting, Rebecca hosted a celebration dinner. James and Lily, now 9 years old, sat with Rebecca at an expensive restaurant. "I've been thinking about what to say," Rebecca began. "About how to thank you properly. But there aren't words for what you did. You gave me my life. You paid with your voice. And somehow, impossibly, you got it back." "You gave it back," James said, his mechanical voice steady now with practice. "You paid for surgery. You gave me life first," Rebecca replied. "And you know what? Marcus Huang is in prison. You're healing. Lily is thriving. Good one. That's rare in this world." Lily spoke up. "Miss Rebecca, can I ask you something?" "Of course, sweetie. Do you ever feel bad that my daddy got hurt saving you?" Rebecca's eyes filled with tears. "Every single day, Lily. Every day." "Don't," Lily said with surprising maturity. "My daddy is a hero. Heroes get scars. But they also win. We won." James looked at his daughter, this brave, strong little girl who had learned to love his mechanical voice. "You're right, princess. We won." Rebecca raised her glass. "To James Rodriguez. The man who took bullets for a stranger and taught us all what courage looks like." They clinked glasses. 5 years passed. Lily grew into a teenager. She went to a good school on Rebecca's scholarship. She wanted to be a doctor, to help people like her father had helped Rebecca. James continued working as director of safety at Chen Technologies. His mechanical voice became familiar to everyone. He trained new security guards. "Your job isn't to look tough," he would tell them, his robotic voice somehow making the words more powerful. "It's to care more about others than yourself." One evening, Lily brought her first boyfriend home to meet James. The boy was nervous, shaking James's hand carefully. "Sir, Lily told me what you did," the boyfriend said. "That's really brave." James smiled. His voice, though mechanical, carried warmth. Being brave isn't about not being scared. It's doing what's right when you're terrified. Later, Lily hugged her father goodnight. She was 14 now, independent and strong, but she still hugged him like she was 7. "Dad, the kids at school asked me today if I was embarrassed about your voice." James tensed. What did you say? Lily smiled. I said my dad's voice is the voice of a hero. And if they don't like it, they can leave. James pulled her close. I'm proud of you. I learned from the best, Lily replied. 10 years after the shooting, James stood at a security conference, giving a speech to hundreds of officers. His mechanical voice echoed through the hall. Lily, now 17, sat in the front row. Rebecca sat beside her, having become like an aunt to Lily over the years. 10 years ago, James said to the crowd, I made a choice. I saw danger, and I ran toward it. That choice cost me my natural voice. But it gave me something more valuable, purpose. He paused, looking at the faces watching him. Some of you might face a moment like mine. A moment where you choose between your safety and someone's life. I can't tell you what to choose. But I can tell you that whatever you lose protecting others, you gain something that can't be taken, the knowledge that you were brave when it mattered. The audience applauded, standing. Lily was crying. Rebecca was crying. James continued, his mechanical voice strong, I am the voice that died, so others could live. I am the father who lost everything and gained what matters most. I am James Rodriguez, and I would make the same choice again. Every single time. The applause was thunderous. That night, James and Lily sat on their apartment balcony, looking at stars. It was November, the same month when everything had changed a decade ago. Dad, Lily said quietly. Do you ever wish you hadn't saved Miss Rebecca? James considered the question. His mechanical voice hummed, sometimes. I miss my old voice. How it sounded. But then I think about you. Your education. Your dreams. Miss Rebecca, alive. All the ripples from that one moment. And Lily prompted. And I realize my voice isn't gone. It changed. It's in you. In the people you'll help as a doctor. In Miss Rebecca's gratitude. In every guard who heard my story and chose to be brave. My voice changed form, but it got louder. Lily leaned her head on his shoulder. I used to hate your robot voice. But now I love it. Because it's yours. Because you earned it saving someone's life. You made it easy, James said softly. You're the reason for everything, Princess. Below them, the city hummed with life. Somewhere, Rebecca was in her office, running her company. Somewhere, Marcus Huang was in prison. Somewhere, people were making choices between safety and sacrifice. And on a small balcony, a father with a mechanical voice and a daughter with a hero's heart sat together, proof that love doesn't need perfect voices. James's artificial vocal cords vibrated, I love you. Lily. I will always love you. Forever. I love you too, Dad, Lily whispered. Your voice is perfect to me. The stars shone above them. And between them existed something beautiful, proof that courage sounds like sacrifice, and love sounds like whatever voice you have left when you give everything away. James Rodriguez had lost his voice saving a stranger. But in losing it, he had taught his daughter, taught Rebecca, taught the world something more valuable than sound, that courage sounds like sacrifice, and that some voices don't need to be perfect to be powerful. They just need to be brave. And his was the bravest voice of all. Years continued to pass. Lily graduated high school with honors. She got accepted into medical school, her dream finally within reach. On her graduation day, she asked James to give a speech to her class. He stood at the podium, his mechanical voice echoing through the auditorium filled with families. Lily sat in the front row, her cap and gown making her look so grown up. 17 years ago, James began, I was just a security guard. Working hard. Raising my daughter alone. Then, one night, changed everything. I took bullets for a stranger. I lost my voice. I thought. I lost everything. He paused, looking directly at Lily. But I was wrong. I didn't lose. I gained. I gained understanding. That sacrifice isn't loss. It's love in action. My daughter taught me that. She loved me when I couldn't speak. When I sounded like a machine. When I was broken. Tears flowed down Lily's face. To all you graduates, James continued, remember this. Life will break you. It will take things from you. Your voice. Your plans. Your dreams. But what you do when you're broken defines who you are. Do you give up? Or do you find new ways to speak? New ways to love? New ways to be brave? The audience was silent, hanging on every mechanical word. I lost my voice. But I found my purpose. And that trade. I'd make it again. Every time. Because some things are worth more than perfection. They're worth everything. The applause was deafening. Lily ran to the stage and hugged her father tight. Thank you, Dad, she whispered. For showing me what real strength looks like. That night, as James tucked away Lily's graduation photo, he touched his scarred throat. His mechanical voice hummed softly, You're welcome, princess. You're welcome. He had taken bullets for a stranger and lost his voice forever. But he had gained something eternal, a daughter who understood that love isn't about perfect voices or perfect lives. It's about showing up. It's about sacrifice. It's about being brave when the world tries to break you. And in that small apartment, with the city lights glowing outside, James Rodriguez smiled. Because he knew the truth that took him years to learn. Sometimes you have to lose your voice to finally understand what's worth speaking for.